Welcome back, everybody, on this lovely Thursday. Good to see you. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you, Mike Gillis, Margaret, Grant, everyone. I'm on social media. So yesterday was a pretty fun day. A couple of really, really good moves. Getting a little bit of a down market today. A couple of stocks that we found did really, really well. Did a nice little video yesterday on Palantir. Did really well. Did another one on NVIDIA. So hopefully you guys are able to watch those videos, like them, friend them, share them. They did really well. Got a lot of really good responses on it. And you know, what's really nice, you're being a student here, other than some people on social media, what's important that you guys read the comments. And obviously there's not a lot of them, but you could see that some people need help. I mean, some of the questions people ask really, really, really don't understand how the market works. And you'll get the angry people and the people calling you out and, whatever, they hide behind their computers, whatever it is. And that's fine. It is. But you see number one, you'll see who you're going up against. And number two, you'll learn that you could see that who your competitor is. And, yesterday was a really good podcast. We had Tom Busby on. And what was nice about Tom when he came on, like he had over 40 years experience, maybe 50, I think. And you just get to hear a little bit about when we were talking about, just, how to get started, why people make mistakes, where to get started, stuff like that. It wasn't more or less, like some of these pitches and these influencers, just good to have, I invite these people to come on the podcast because I want you to see they're human just like you. They started just like you. And the big thing is you're going to, you're there to where they started, and we all want everyone to succeed because it is a very great job being a trader and just got to know how to play the game. Now, regarding about what we traded yesterday, I think we had a really good morning yesterday. A lot of good stocks made some big moves. First of all the let me make this to a 2-day chart. So all the OKLOs and SMRs, all the nuclear stocks did really, really, really well. You could see how the SMR just literally just popped, went from like 35 to 41. We did fabulous on these trades. Obviously, you can see the timing during the day. All starts from here, the mouse pad. Everyone knows the clock, right? Everybody see that? So, they did really well yesterday. And it's funny, we couldn't find out the real news why they went up so much. But, I did do a video on nuclear stocks a while ago. Rich, you got that? Could you get that link? The one I did about 2 weeks ago, I did on nuclear stocks. And you can see it on Instagram and TikTok also. By the way, I know we're having some issues on, streaming right now on TikTok for some of you here. So hopefully you're watching on YouTube or Instagram. But yeah, that was a really, really good move on those stocks too. And remember, we don't have a crystal ball. It's just we see where the orders are, and you just got to read between the lines, okay? So those all did pretty well. A couple of the stocks did really well. First of all, keep an eye on Boeing, BA. So everybody probably heard the bad news what happened last night. Was this morning? There was a plane crash. It was a Boeing plane. One of the, listen, these are things that happen. I mean, Boeing is always like, I don't know. You never hear from an Airbus. You never hear, it's always a Boeing plane. I don't understand. Men and Max jets, everything like that. So, but anyway, it did really well with Boeing's not just in the plane business. They're in the military business, stuff like that. So when President Trump was over in Saudi Arabia, I know he was like their number one salesman and did sell a lot for Boeing. Boeing did really, really well. April 125 to about 212. What a great runner-up. Some of us here, we look at it and we're like, man, I wish I bought NVIDIA, right? Well, what did NVIDIA really do? It went from 100 to 140? Come on, that only went up 50%. Boeing went up 100%. Tesla, right, went from 200 to almost 350. That wasn't even 100%. So there were a lot of really good movers out there. But But anyway, these stocks starting to trend down a little bit. Anyway, yeah, very sad, right, Grant? On that. But listen, that's why people short the stock. What else that we traded yesterday did pretty well? Quantum stocks did pretty well too. That we traded as QUBT. That was a QUBT. There we go. That one did really, really well. Still, they're really holding pretty strong too. We did something on quantum stocks too. These stocks were down in the 10. I know someone's got it here around the 13 price range. Another 100% mover, not only on the day trade, but on the swing trade also. So they all did really well. Now, what's going on this morning? One last other stock I want to bring up. United Healthcare. I did do a video on United Healthcare also. I did a swing trade on United Healthcare. I jumped in right around here, around 305, right when it kind of built this little support level right here. That stock's doing pretty well. I like it also because if you could see right here, if we can get past this 313 number right here, which is look like it's starting to see, we got like the 3 candles where I teach like in a swing course, 3 candles, going up, up, up. That's a really good sign. That's a sign of maybe a new swing trade. Remember, this stock was all the way up here in the price of 620. The stock got destroyed, hammered. So I know a lot of us here, when they did that video too on that, we my favorite trades is bottom fishing. And a lot of us did get it here in that 3-day bounce. I think we got it here. Some of us got it here around like 275. But what a nice bounce. Went all the way up to about 320. By the way, you got to see the comments on that. I mean, the people, my God, everyone just hates these healthcare companies. Well, like them, hate them, I don't care. We're just trading them, right? We're trading them. Last night, my son had I was at one of the parents, my son's on a wrestling team, and they did this barbecue and had some of the parents and all the kids were there and stuff. So, a lot of people know that what I do for a living, and I do these shows, and, and I'm trading all the time. And it's just, they all asking me a little bit about United Healthcare. First of all, about the medical insurance stuff, but then it talked about the stock. The stock came up, and you know what? I said, I know the stock got crushed, but everything going on looks like it's making a big support levels. Looks pretty good. It's holding here pretty good. Could be a good little bit long of a swing trade. Listen, CrowdStrike. We saw what happened with CrowdStrike, right? CrowdStrike got crushed. Remember that whole breach? Where's CrowdStrike right now? Just made all this money back. So it came back after getting crushed like that. Anyway, let's go talk about what's going on this morning because we're running out of time here. We got this one stock that's moving here, CGTL. Some of you got a nice little push here early in the morning. Watching it right now, this stock got destroyed. You can see it went from $6 down to $1. We came all the way down to about 90 cents. It's like one of the first days up. We'll put this on the watch list. 40 million shares traded. Not bad. This is the one that's really moving probably the best this morning. This KLTO. What a nice little push. So 8 o'clock this morning, when a lot of you guys got in here about an hour ago, it was at $1.70. It's already at 207. Nice push, nice trend. A lot of you remember this stock ran to $4. We were trading this stock the last couple of days. Let me bring this up here. You could see it right here. Beautiful run, right? Beautiful run from Friday to Monday. Now it came back down, but it's up again today. So you can use the last 2 days resistance levels. Also, it does got really good support and resistance levels with the buyers and sellers on level 4. All right. A couple other stocks also. This is another really nice one that we've been trading. This RSLS, some of you remember this stock. Yes, this is true. The stock did go from 18 to 76. It was a great short squeeze. The stock is pretty volatile, but we've been trading the stock many times. You remember we traded back on this day. It ran from 9 to 14. We had another rally here. It ran from 5 to 8. It's just been, and you can see it's like going up and it crashes, goes up and crashes. So this is one of those stocks. We got 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. But she's the third biggest percentage gainer on the market. We'll keep an eye on it. I don't know if this is a buyout. It could be, but the stock is basically up on this morning and it really hasn't gone anywhere. Probably put that on the B list. We got to check out the news on that one. And what else we got going on here? That pretty much does it there. Most active. A lot of those stocks that we found in the big gainers are right there. Losers. What do we got going here? This stock was pretty good yesterday. Right in the afternoon, this thing popped, went from $1.40 all the way to $2.20. Forgot to mention that one too, but we know why it's on the losers list. New York Stock Exchange, you got this one stock right here, which is very rare to find in New York Stock Exchange. SOAR moving up pretty nicely too. Nice little trend right there. That one looks pretty good. Put that on the watch list. And that pretty much does it. All right. GameStop is getting crushed. Let me tell you, I sold that stock yesterday. And because of earnings came out. You could see it right here. And then I saw it. I'm like, and then I was watching it, and I actually lost money on that stock. I owned it at $30. Okay. And and it had this nice little run right here. It went to 35. You see it right there? And I thought it was going to be, after this whole Bitcoin thing that was going on and would happen. And then it took this big dive right here. I'm like, oh, crap. So I held it. I had it at 30. And I got out yesterday around 29.50, something like that. I'm like, let me get out of it. Let me tell you something. Thank God I got out of it. That is a good loss. That's when you come out. And I know Tom was talking about it yesterday. So if you guys will get a chance to watch that video of that podcast, I think you're going to love that interview. But one of the best things to learn as a trader is how to take a loss, and which is your biggest mistake. And let me tell you, that was a fabulous, fabulous loss. And I think, what was the news on that? Game plan beginners. That was the video. So anyway, the GameStop trade, I think they're doing a secondary offering. I think that's what the news on that. And that really crushed the stock pretty bad. But I might be a buyer. Listen, we're getting close to that support levels back at 21. Yeah, trading lower after the company announced a $1.7 billion proposed private offering convertible senior note. Okay, that's the news right there. Okay, there it is. Yeah, that really crushed that stock right there. That didn't go too well. Anyway, let's put that on the watch list too, right? GME, always been a fun stock to trade. All right, so that pretty much does it. Now listen, we have open house today at 12 o'clock. So if anyone here, please make sure you join our open house. We're going to teach you how to level 3, level 4 trade. If you want to get into that, I'm going to post up the QR code right here on the social media. So just take your cell phone, just click on it, scan that QR code, will get you in there. Cyber traders, you know what we need to know. You know what to do. You see something, you say something. I know we have a bunch of new members here that are joining us live here all day. And I just want to just remind everyone, you are not here to trade. You're here to watch. Remember, we don't tell you what to buy. We teach you how to trade. And that's what's going to help you to succeed in the future of trading. So just sit back, watch the other traders, what they do, and see if it's for you first. And we'll go from there. All right, everyone. Good luck, everybody. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
All right, we are good to go. There we are. We got Fausto up and running right now. Great to see you, Fausto.
Good to see you. Good morning. How's it going, everyone?
Yeah, doing pretty
Good to
good
see you,
today.
Margaret. Yeah, looking good.
Jim asking a question just out the gate, Fausto, one of our students in our trading floor. Just how much was the dividend on that TSLY that paid today?
Okay, I just looked at it, and apparently I think it's like over 45 cents. So if you had 1,000 shares of it, you're gonna get paid somewhere between 4 and 500. It was a lot more last month. I looked; it was at 76 cents. So 70. So that what that means is if you had 1,000 shares, they paid you $780. I was actually working on a video too. I'm gonna do one today on TSLY about how to play these dividend plays. So that's why you're seeing the big drop on it right now. We went from 870 down to like 820. That usually happens because they're the way they hedge on the option. The more volatile the stock is, like it was very volatile last month, Tesla. So that's why the dividend paid more. This month it wasn't as so much. So this past month, and that's why it's only paying so little. But overall, it's still doing pretty good. Not bad. I mean, think about it. $8,000, and you make yourself $400, $500 a month on it. Yeah, I think not bad. If it doesn't go anywhere, it's a pretty good play.
Let's go through our watch list just to begin here, Rich. Like the KLTO has been a nice stock just this past week. Dropping off a little bit here, I guess, but had a good pre-market move.
Yeah, one stock that's also Josh is doing pretty well on the watch list that I loved yesterday, and I'm doing well on is United Healthcare. I mean, it's expensive, but that was at 113 I was talking about this morning that I want to break, and it looks like it's trying to break it now. So that looks really, really nice. It's the
Zoom in on the
June
daily
2nd.
chart there, Rich. I just want to see something quick. What's the high from like, what is that? Like May 21st or something. It has like one peak there. Yeah, that one.
He has like 124.
Something like that. If it can, when it blasts that, when it does, not a matter of if, but when, I think it's going to take off pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, was this CVAC a buyout or what? I mean, it looks like it's a buyout.
Which one?
The CVAC?
Let me check there. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. So I
CVAC?
just want to make sure we don't waste our time.
Yeah, I think it's kind of looks
Yeah,
like
an all stock transaction it was.
to be acquired. Yeah, you can always tell by looking at how the stock trades. No,
Yep,
sometimes
no,
you
it
get
is.
caught in those stocks. I'm like, I think it's going up, and I all of a sudden like a rookie mistake.
Getting a good push on a lot of the trades we've been calling out this week already. I know that you're going to be discussing some of these in your workshop later on this afternoon, like the
Mm-hmm.
quantums, the nuclears, the space stocks, even. All of those been doing really nicely.
Spaghetti's booming up again.
Yep. Archer, you got the air taxi stocks, we'll call them.
GameStop is getting close to that big support level. I know that's on the watch list too. Yeah, Archer's making a really nice push. That was a nice swing trade from yesterday. I did a swing on that too. Yesterday's highs, it peaked out around 1252. So I know you sent me that article, Josh. It was a great article, on Archer, everything about those aviation drone stocks.
An NVTS trade that Timothy called out, one of our gold students. We love that stock. That's a really nice trade. Anytime it's moving well, we'll call it out. So obviously here, a great shout from Timothy. Really good icebergs. Yeah, we got a few in our rotation here, and not even just out of random. These stocks we've done exceptionally well on over this past week or two. So kind of more from our side list, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I'd rather that compared to random stock XYZ that you or I have never heard of before. There's IPOs, but like you and I have been around the block, especially you. And like, if there's a stock that you've never heard of before making some crazy pop, you kind of just assume it's like a pharmaceutical pump and dump type of play, right?
Yep.
Or some like, some Asian market stock that's just getting a low volume pump up, crashes after. You've seen them.
NVIDIA had nice. It's funny. A lot of my watch list was pretty red this morning, and all of a sudden, a lot of things started going green.
Yeah, this morning pre-market wise, I wasn't as impressed. You had a couple
Ooh,
here or there, like moving a little bit, but you're right now you're starting to get a little bit more green out there.
ooh, Costco broke 1,000.
We're at 935 right now, so let's see. Anything here? There are some plays that I see that I may look to jump into, but I wasn't really chomping at the bit today. So it's okay to miss some stocks, but I definitely want to see if one of these will go. NVTS, maybe the ASTS trade.
Nvidia made a little bit of a move. I did a video 2 days ago on Nvidia, and I tell you, some people get so upset when you like bash it. I'm not bashing it. I said, listen, it's got a big seller, 145. Someone said, hey, it just broke 145. They're like, yeah, that was pre-market. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden the order showed back up and it came right back down. This stock's a little volatile. The A
I've been waiting here a bit.
the AAOI, ugly spread.
That was a stock a long while ago that made a crazy run up to over $100 a share. Uh, I don't think they had a reverse split. Yeah, back in 2017 it was. Yeah, a long time ago. Came back down.
It's funny how you find these stocks like we always tell everybody that you're going to miss about 90% of these big run-ups that we have, but don't worry, you'll out of 9 out of 10 you'll get one of them. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, like knowing that you're gonna miss a lot of them, the last thing that you need to do is get frustrated by like, oh no, because then that kills more time and like then you'll miss 10 out of 10. So
Yeah.
you gotta at least kind of keep it straightforward and move on to the next if you miss it.
Yeah, you're gonna miss them. Don't worry about it. But you know what? They're there. It's not like I missed that opportunity. I missed COVID. I missed the financial crisis. I should have bought houses back then. Yeah, those come every 8 years, 10 years. These stocks come up every day.
Exactly. How about this one, the XTIA? This has been a really nice trade over the last few days, last week. Just make that a daily chart, Rich, and zoom in. Yeah, some like weird stuff there on that one. Yeah, look at that run from this week. All green candles at least.
I tell you, I really like this GameStop. If it holds here pretty strong, I mean, I'll just see how it trades a little bit longer. But like, you know me, I love bottom fishing. That's why I bought I love the United Healthcare trade that we bought when it went from like 600 down to 250. Um, GameStop has an ETF. Did you know that?
It wouldn't surprise me
GMEU.
knowing them.
Oh, shit, that's so funny.
Hey, I just got a chat from one of our platinum students here just saying, hey, that was really good advice, very encouraging as far as just missing the moves. But, hey, that was Fausto kind of just saying that there. Out of every 10, you'll miss 9, right? But it is
Hmm.
true. Like, just don't get caught up in the emotion behind it. And it becomes a lot easier to just kind of move on. Like, hey, ASTS is going up without me right now off that 36 level I've been clamoring about all week. Hey, we'll see if there's an entry and a pullback or maybe another level up top.
You want to laugh? I'm just looking at this GameStop ETF, this GMEU. It's only like less than 2 months old.
Mm. Is it one of the high paying dividend ones or is it just like a
No,
regular double leverage?
anything that's a dividend will be a Y at the end of it. That's how you know. All of them are it's a high yield. That's what it stands for, the Y. But no, it's just more of it's like a TSLL. You know what I mean? Like it's just crazy how many like ETFs there are. Like that they're just doing them on stocks now. I mean, like somebody figured out a way. Just say just because broke exchanges love ETFs because they make a lot of money. These companies, having these ETFs, they have to report, they have to do this. Um, they want companies to go public. They need them. They make a lot of money off them. It's one of the reasons why they do that. But it's crazy. I don't know when it started. It had to have been what, like maybe 2 years, 3 years now. But they make a they someone figured it out, said, why we keep doing, how do we make more ETFs? Let's just do it on the stock. And then now they're doing it off the option.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's been about like 3 or so years, maybe at this point. Time kind of flies, so my brain's all jumbled with the timeline. But I think it is about 2 or 3 years.
Every day, because people know what I'm doing in the business. Whenever I'm out in the street and I meet people, because everybody's in the market, and they've been trading forever, and these people have a lot of money. They're like, there's an ETF on that stock. They're like, a ETF. There's like 30 of them on that one stock. They just don't get,
Exactly.
they like, and like, really? Like, when did that start? I'm like 2, 3 years ago, I think.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
where
it's
have
been a
I
little bit.
been?
I think Tesla may have been the first, or like I think maybe Apple, one of them.
I, yeah, that's a good
This
question.
ASTS trade's really taken off. It's a nice pop so far. Bill asking you, Fausto, have you looked at PLTY, the Palantir one?
No, I've been trading the PLTU. Like the only problem I don't like the high yield ETFs is they're extremely volatile. All of them go down. If you look at them, pretty much all of them, like everyone's like down. You know what I mean? So it's a pretty great story, but I haven't really, you're looking at these things for, there's two ways of trading the market, Josh, is growth and there's income. So these ETFs are people that trade dividends do it for income. People trade stocks do it for growth. Um, so you got to be really careful when you're doing for income. If these stocks keep going down, you're not going anywhere. So
Exactly. That's the thing. If you're holding on to them, they just keep tanking. It's kind of counterintuitive to a point, right?
right.
It's funny. I saw a tweet on that just overnight about the MSTY one, maybe it was. Palantir is trying to make a little bit of a slingshot right now. Speaking of, trying to. Market's like holding up a little bit right now, so that's at least nice to have. I felt a little wonky about today, but the more we keep showing higher lows and some of these stocks at least keep turning green, if not already green. Oracle came off good earnings. They made a pretty good pop overnight. They're flying. That's a good earnings play there. A couple of the trades pulled back, like QBTS. I had on my side list, just kind of pulled back just before. NVTS pulling back, not making a higher high. Archer kind of slumping back down a small bit. We'll keep these on our radar, but just not making that morning move that you'd want to see.
So we were talking about these ETFs, and I think everybody's asking me, like, when did it start? The first one started in July of 20, and we were actually right. You basically hit the nail on the head. 2022 was the first one. Launched the first ETF.
So my brain's not that scrambled.
Yeah.
This RCAT's been pushing up. Rich just beat me to it in the chat board right there. So by like a millisecond, but no, it's pushing up really well. Good tradable stock that we've called out. Another of the aircraft stocks.
What do you think's better, RCAT or I mean, you don't really hear too much about RCAT, but a lot of people keep talking about Archer.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the main one. I think Archer's like the big one.
Yeah, it's like Archer because it's tied to Palantir. You know what I mean?
I feel like there's just like more partnerships that Archer already has, just at least from our day trading brains kind of being in the news here and there, not always, but like when we
Right.
see them pop up, we kind of read the news and I feel like Archer's had more like names kind of being associated with it.
Archer, like what's the other one? Jobby, the other one, like not
Jobby,
really.
yeah. So who knows, market cap wise, like maybe Jobby's even higher, but Archer I think is number one in my eyes and your eyes, and
Yeah, I mean,
Jobby number two.
I own it many times. I sold it. I bought it back. Just waiting for that. Everybody's trying to find that next Palantir run up. Everybody's trying to find that next Nvidia run up. You know what I mean? You got to remember, Nvidia is at 143. It's really 1,400. Remember, we did a 10-for-1 stock split, everybody. So
I did something I shouldn't have done right now. I just jumped the gun on an entry and it's working out pretty damn nice, but I shouldn't have taken it yet.
Danny on Facebook was bringing up the Rigetti. You see what happened with Rigetti? It came crashing down. Danny had that big slingshot and just went from like just right under 1340. It's just dropped $1. You know what I mean? Like that's why we always like to wait the first 5 minutes or so. You're going to get these big slingshots. These are a lot of orders that are just coming, getting filled, and then they tank. By the way, anyone watching on social media, really quick, I'm just going to post up the link. I'm going to be live today at 12. So if you want to know a little bit more about how to trade the market, just take your phone, scan that QR code, and it's also going to be in the top right-hand corner. So if you guys want to be able to get registered for it, just click on that link.
Yeah, you can do one or the other if you're not as fancy with your phone, with your camera. It's pretty simple to do that QR code actually, but go right down to the scrolling link down below on the banner there, ct.co/free. Type that in on your internet browser, but otherwise scan it with your phone. Be quick access right there. Funny that Danny mentioned that about Rigetti, Fausto, because that's actually the stock that I took the trade on. It's a short. I was looking at a potential short on it, at least I'm testing something out. So we'll see if it ends up working. But I actually did jump the gun on it. I should have waited a little bit longer on it.
We got a nice push on GameStop when it, like I said, it got right close to that support levels we were thinking. It's already up about $1.
Oh, quick shout out, Fausto, to Warren, one of our students, at least from our trading room. He's a member of ours, and he bought Jobby last week at 8:05, joining us on YouTube today. Still holding.
There you go. Cha-ching.
Just got stopped out break even. That's why we just said I jumped the gun on my entry.
Keep an eye on the
I've been saying this the whole time, backtesting and backtesting something. It's just, I say that because when you're playing around, when you're testing, you shouldn't be trading big size, right?
No.
If you're not confident yet with a strategy, do not trade big size. So at least for what I'm doing, a lot of what I'm doing is working out, but there's still more to it before you build up the confidence to trade, your normal size, your normal lot. I will say Oracle's been going up really nicely today.
Oracle? Where'd you see
calling
that?
it out. I'm not in it, but that's been on fire off earnings.
Oh my God. How did we miss this one?
Which the Oracle?
Yeah, I have it. I took it off my watch list. I had Oracle and I sold it.
See, like there's got to be an ETF for Oracle, right? Probably like ORCX or something. Try. Who knows?
It's got a December 9th high around 198. We're almost there. So they had earnings, Oracle?
I believe so, yes. Because, this week they did.
It must have been this morning. It was yesterday, yeah, right after the close. Did great, Oracle. I guess people love it. I know they signed that big $500 million. They put like, was it 500 billion, or they signed a big deal? A data center that they're doing.
Wouldn't shock me if it could be like nuclear, powered or something like that. That's kind of the hot thing of late with nuclear powered data centers. Fausto, this stock's making a pop right now over $1. IPA beer.
Is that a beer?
It's a pharma stock, but maybe they work on beer with hops or something. No, immunoprecise antibodies, but crazy. Clarence here, one of our new members here, saying Oracle with Stargate. That's the partnership.
Yeah. Okay, that was the big one. You know what's crazy? Like, I would love to buy it, but it's like, this is the problem. Like, do you pay this price for it now? You know what I mean? That's the issue. Our cat looks like it's consolidating right here. Man, Oracle's like one of those stocks. They were like they were the big name brand, back in the day. They were when you talk about the Fabulous Seven today, Oracle was one of the Fabulous Sevens back in the day. They were, it was Intel, Microsoft, Oracle, What was the other one? Shit.
It was like Netscape.
No, another data company. They're not around anymore. I think I got bought out. Shit. Crazy stock. It'll come to me. Was another big one that back then. IBM, Michael. Yeah, it was. IBM was, you could say it a little bit, but that was more of the New York stock and more, more of the Fabulous Sevens, or more like the NASDAQ. IBM was that like typical like blue chip, conservative stock. You know what I mean?
Market's been making just a grind this morning going up. I mean, hey, we'll take up, but a couple good trades. Oracle, as we had said, ASTS is still holding up pretty nice.
Yeah, there you go. You got another ETF, right, Lynn and Randy? ORCX.
Yes, ASTS trade's holding up really well. I'll tell you what, I'll be pissed if I don't get the swing entry I was looking for from $36. But hey, like I just said to everyone else, you gotta kind of bite the bullet when it comes to emotion and just move on. Or maybe you could take the same trade just from a higher price level. But there's so much moving right now, still at 9:52 in the morning. Just gotta look forward.
Gene saying Costco had the highest market cap back in those days. Oh, please don't. That's like, it's like stabbing me in the back. Should have bought that stock forever. And same thing. I'm like, I can't pay this price for Costco. And then it went up and kept going. I'm like, I can't pay this price. I wish I still had it till today. It wasn't DEC, Tom. And it wasn't like US. It was like trading like US Robotics. If everybody remembers that. Remember the modems back then?
Getting a small short right now on QBTS for myself here, but I don't really have like as much of a game plan on the exit. I'm gonna ride it out until reversal time if it could work out great, but
yeah, SMR is going back up, Grant. Good call right there. Just made a new high, all-time high. Just broke right through the 41 high right there. Really nice push. Is okay, but OKLO is going down. OKLO's looks like it's building a Fausto flag right here. We were talking about that stock yesterday for a while. Made a lot of money on that stock. Did really well on that stock. I sold it though. I wanted to do a swing trade, but it just went up so much, Josh. I said, let me take my profit.
both are great trades each day. The issue is that we've been talking about it yesterday. Like the more expensive any stock gets, it's going to thin out. The order book gets bad. The spread opens up. So we love these stocks because we've done so well on them back when they were $15, $20. Now when they're at $70 a share, $66 a share, they're like category 5, right?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. If you do well on them normally, then stick with them. But if you don't do normally well on them, there are just other stocks out there to trade.
Chuck, I'm going to ask everybody a question. I know we have a lot of Costco fans in here. How much you think you spent at Costco the lifetime that you've been going there?
Jeez, just on the
Can anybody tell me, what do you think?
Cookies alone, I don't know.
How much you got a Costco card, Josh?
No,
No, you don't go. So
big fan of the cookies though.
About $100,000.
The double chocolate chunk cookies.
A lot. Maybe some of you too embarrassed to even say.
Chicken bakes.
Yeah, Clarence. They went up so much yesterday, and that's why it became more of a day trade. I wanted to be more a swing trade. Day says about 100 to 200,000, 300 per week. It used to be the 100, 200 club, then became the 300, 400 club. They were mostly going to grocery shopping there the last 20 years. Davy, I swear to God, my wife gets so mad at me. That's all I do is I shop. That's my supermarket. Okay. but I can't go there. So I would probably say this is how I finally figured out, Josh. I get I have the black card, so it pays you 2% back whatever you spend money on. You get the card, so I max it out, right? I get a check for like over $500. So get $500, you got to spend at least 25,000, 30,000 a year. I must have spent probably 300, maybe $500,000 in the past 20 years. I would probably say it's got to be that much.
They should put you on the board at this point.
I do that, and then like you just said, you says I'm part of the contribution why the stock is trading at 1,000.
Yeah,
Let
like a plaque or something.
me tell you a crazy thing. I went in there one day. I never seen this in my life. There was this guy buying a shitload of vitamins. He had that hand cart, and there were 3 people counting the money. His bill was like $27,000, and he had 27,000 in cash, and they were counting it right there. And I'm like, where's this guy get $27,000, and why is he buying why is he paying $27,000?
You have so many questions.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
No, of course, no, exactly. I'm like, I have so many questions about this situation. Like,
Yeah, money laundering. He's a drug dealer. Well, he's definitely drug dealing vitamins, because that's all it was. 27,000, John. 23 or 27. It was one of the two, but regardless, it wasn't like a couple $1,000 cash. You go to the bank with 10 grand, and they want you fill a form. SMR is still pushing up pretty nicely, so.
Yeah, the nuclear trades are holding up nicely today, where the quantums are dropping. They have been. The ASTS trade's been doing great as well still, but that's more of a category. I mean, hey, it's actually safer than OKLO and SMR, but it's still pretty volatile. I'd give ASTS a 3, maybe a 4.
What kills me to buy this stock back again? It was just $10 2 months ago.
Which, the ASTS?
No, the SMR.
Oh, the SMR. Yeah, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's at 40, 2, 3. You know what I mean? I owned it at like 16. I sold it at 22. Then I lost money on it because I bought it at 33 and it went down to 30. I bought it yesterday. I did well. I owned it at 37. I sold it at 41. You know what I mean? I just can't justify me buying at this price. I mean, it's up so much.
What's interesting is it broke that trend of the lower highs. It broke that back in mid-May, and it just never looked back. Like, maybe it consolidated for about 5 or so days, but it didn't drop. It just kind of stayed. It's impressive, and it goes to show how strong the sector is, if not just the stock.
But they're not
sometimes
making
some
any
of these
money.
trades
They're
just
not
go
making any money
crazy, and
yet.
you can't even you don't have an explanation for it, right?
Yeah, you don't.
These you do, though, just because nuclear is the next big thing, and like the administration loves it. They're big into it. So
I'm a huge fan of
these traits go up, but it's just impressive.
Well, it's what I'll tell you what bothers me about these stocks, and I think everyone here, and this is the problem of being a day trader, is that we're way, way too conservative. We're way too careful because we don't trust these things. You know what I mean? I don't trust anybody, anything at all, because they turn on you. They're like it's like a pit bull. You know what I mean? Like your best friend. Next thing you know, it's like what I thought it was such a sweet dog. You know what I mean? These stocks, and you could see it like SMR back in April. Back in September, it was $7. Thing ran to 30, just like quantum stocks. And look where it happened. It dropped all the way back down to 12. You know what I mean? Like you see that crash coming down. Same thing with OKLO. In December, in January, it was 21, shot up to 60, and then it came back to 20 again. It was a screaming buy at 20, a lot of support. Yeah, I know, Grant's SMR is starting to go back down again. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't trust them.
Here's something I just want to point out, and this is more to our members inside our live trading room. It's such a good reason to join us each and every day there, especially if you're on YouTube right now. But to like Grant, Clarence, Margaret, Michael, etc. Look on QBTS. You got this big gap on the daily chart. It's been holding higher lows very nicely since, but I wonder if it's going to fill that gap in due time. be something to think about. Ooh, just smashed below big iceberg at 16. So that helps my cause on the short, but we'll see what happens coming up. Interesting. The market's been holding well though, Fausto. SPY's been doing good.
Yeah, I mean, we're down like 160. We're at a lot of resistance. We're starting to come up a little bit. That RLS, the RSLS, what an ugly stock. I'm glad we didn't really spend too much time on it. Rigetti's starting to build a Fausto flag on the downside. Looks like it's probably going to test maybe somewhere close to 12. So, I'll give you an example too. We're talking about these, all these nuclear stocks and how the big roller coaster. Look at QUBT. The damn thing was $1, okay, in November, and it shot up to 25. Right, we traded, we had a great time, and then all of a sudden, right after Christmas or right before Christmas, here comes the president. Boom, drops all the way back down to 5. You know what I mean? And now it's back up to 20. It's like that's why you can't trust them.
Yeah, it's not as good of a swing trade. I mean, you really have to. The chart has to provide something that falls into your lap, like a Fausto flag or higher low, higher high type deal. I still don't trust it, but just that's why it makes it better day trade than swing trade, at least, right?
Right. Rich is calling out the Oracle, big resistance right there at 200. Yeah, I mean, that's almost like a no-brainer with a big resistance there.
Yeah.
That's an obvious number, you know. Damn, I wish I still had it, but you know what? I had it, and I sold it.
KLTO is going back up.
What's nice about the Oracle, if you look at the level 4, what a beautiful ladder, and every ladder got taken out.
So far, so good on just the quantum short playing around with right now. You still want to look at 1030 as bounce time, reversal time, and you still want to focus on your icebergs.
Archer's consolidate. I mean, Red Cat's consolidating right here.
See, it's why I don't trust any shorting these sectors or these stocks in these sectors because they are hot. Like if they bounce, you better cover pretty quick.
It's funny you say that. We're talking about these sectors are hot, and like we're sitting there, like we're like a bunch of snipers. We're sitting there. We know it's hot, and they just haven't really popped yet. I don't think they made that move yet. I mean, as much as we would think, like the quantums and the nuclear stocks, but it's like you got to be in it. And it's like, and then one day when you're gonna wake up, and you're gonna be like, oh, you see, it made its move. I mean, they started to make a little bit of a move. Red Cat that did have a lot of support around 5. I mean, we're almost at up 100%, but it's not like hitting that high like the nuclear stocks. I mean, the high on it was like 15. I mean, Red Cat just back in last year of this time was $1.
If QBTS plays out the way I think it can with like the lower highs it's been building at least since late May, I could see a drop back down to 15 again. That's doable.
Mhm.
Obviously, when I say that, for any of our members on YouTube, you got to learn how to like follow these charts and learn how the order book works. So when I say that, I don't have my feet kicked up on this short, like, everything's all good to go. Again, any one thing, these stocks can fly right back on up. So it looks like it's possible we could see 15 again, maybe. Just the market's been holding well up though, so I'm a fan of that. That's where, if we keep going up, then eventually these quantums are going to bounce.
But
And we do.
Clarence is asking a lot of good questions. Clarence, I'm glad he came back. I know we spoke, and we gave you, you wanted to come back. You didn't spend enough time in it, but hopefully you learn a little bit more now than what happened last month.
So the stuff happening in the Middle East kind of spiked things down in the market, and There's a guy I follow, Fausto, with Bitcoin, just on Twitter. He's pretty good with his like entries, exit stuff. Like, he posts some good intel. He got out of a big position from like 78,000 last night, and he was screaming like everything bullish, bullish, going up to 120K.
Yeah.
And the last time he did this, there was a crash. So it's funny how overnight Bitcoin already dropped back down to 107. Probably going to continue to drop off more, I feel.
I was talking to, like I said, I had my this morning. I was telling everybody last night. I had my sons. They had a barbecue for wrestling, and some of the parents are there. And one of the parents was telling me like their partners owns Bitcoin at like $500,
Mm.
and they still have it. I'm like, if I had it, I probably would have. I would have been out of it like at like 2,000 or 1,000, you know what I mean? Because we don't trust anything, you know what I mean? Like, to have something that's like something like you had to like totally didn't know you even owned, you know what I mean? Um, but they were asking me like, "You think Bitcoin's a good buy here?" I'm like, I said, "Let me explain something to you. We trade stocks at like, let's say $10. Like, look at RCAT, whatever. It was at 5, it went to 10. That's like buying Bitcoin right now at 100,000. It's gonna be 200,000, in 3 weeks. So you got to look at the percentage going there uh, as trading wise. So because people keep asking me, I don't know what your thoughts on it, Josh, but like some people think, is it still a buy here? I'm like, listen, there's a lot you could trade, you know?
So it depends basically on just one second. I got this loud ass thing going on in the back of my home office area. No, but pretty much it depends on what your stance is. Are you a trader or are you an investor? If you're an investor and you see growth for the next 10 years, you think there's a chance to go to a million or half a million, then anytime's a good time to buy, right? If you got
Right.
the patience and if you got the money to just have in there for a while and you're not going to touch it, there's no emotion tied to it, then
But
good.
think about,
There's
Josh. It's
always a
it's
time to
not
buy.
it's not $10. It's 100,000. You know what I mean? It's $100,000 when you think at the back of your head. I mean, like it's not like you know a tenth of a Bitcoin is what, 10 grand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just got to think of it as like how much percent gain could I make going forward? If you're just a trader, and it's okay to be just a trader, but if you are a trader, you probably don't have as much patience.
Oh, RSLS finally made a pop out of nowhere. I think it's just a crazy stock. Just went from 320 to $4.
Closed half my.
Grant, see, Josh. Not everyone is as young as you, okay? But Grant says he's not even going to be here in 10 years. That's a long time. He's like,
Don't say that, Grant.
yeah,
Come on, Grant.
you
We're
should be
wishing
here
you well
in 10 years.
tomorrow above all else, Grant. We know that you
Yeah.
got some things going on tomorrow, so we are wishing you love and wishing you well, and hopefully get you back in here again sooner than later. Timothy saying DXY dollar index is rising, or GC is rising, DXY is dropping. Okay, yeah, that's where I closed half my QBTS short, took profit on half, and just don't want to get caught up in a slingshot where they start flying right back on up because the market's popping higher.
Yeah, we're coming back a little by little. Let me tell you, this Oracle is consolidating here at the 199 to 200.
Yeah, it's just hanging out right now. It's doing good.
I mean, it doesn't, not too many people, you don't, it's funny, but you never hear, if you want, like any of the financial stations, you rarely ever hear them talk about Oracle. It's always Apple, it's always, Microsoft, you know, you never hear them talking about Oracle.
Larry Ellison has done a good job kind of keeping himself out of the headlines a lot.
Sometimes, when he sails, he's
Yeah.
always, he's always racing. Gold's worth holding for insurance, have 4,000 years history. Bitcoin, okay. So anyway, while you're bringing that up, Chuck, we just got a pop on Oracle. Just took out the 99. Now we'll come up to 100,000 share sell at 200. So that is
Which you have
a
the NASDAQ book Euro. You want to just post a picture of that iceberg at 200 there, if you could pull it up. Yeah, I'm not betting against this market. So with the short on the quantum, it was based on, again, something I'm back testing. So it worked out, just not as big as we normally see trades work out. And that means the market's holding up pretty nicely. I'm not trying to bet against this market. I'm very bullish.
it's crazy. I had Oracle at like 135.
Mm.
And then it went down to 120 and it came back to 135. And I'm like, end up putting most of my money in Tesla. I did well. I mean, we all did well on it, but I just totally forgot about this stock.
I was going through some of the swing trades from the past year so far since the beginning of January. Celsius is going up more. I don't mind getting out where I did there. Just get it, wipe your hands clean, move on to other things. But the one that pisses me off, I should have held into, is the Philip Morris PM.
Yeah, you were a fan of that for a while.
Coming off the Zyn nicotine, I should have held on a lot longer. There are certain ones you don't mind giving up. It's like, okay, that was a 3-day thing. That was a 1-week thing. You knew it. That's okay. But then there's others like you coulda, shoulda, woulda held on. It's like, happens. Right now, I'm just looking at my watch list here, my side list, and just kind of waiting. Oracle's been just holding so nicely, waiting to see what happens at that 200. Palantir is doing something. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's trying to do something where it's going up. Long up wicks, though.
Yeah, everything's like creeping up like little by little. It's like a nickels and dimes day so far. Nothing really crazy.
Yeah.
Other than, the Oracle trade. I really want to see if this thing breaks 200.
Here's a nice trade that we may have called out earlier, but either way, just it's still holding up pretty well. SGMT, pharma stock, I think. Oh, you actually got to be careful on the order book there. Photo's better. Got the Trump stock. UMAC might be trying to go up again. UMAC. The issue on these are the spreads. You got to make sure that they hold and they don't open up 7, 8 cents, 10-cent spread.
This is weird. So there's Oracle that trades on in New York, but then there's ORCX that's traded on the NASDAQ.
So it's the company. It's not necessarily the company's ETF, but it's like there's an ETF holdings company that makes it. So I guess it was their decision to go on, NASDAQ compared to New York. That's weird.
Yep.
I wonder why they did that.
Yeah, Michael, the MCTR, that was a fun stock. That was, in some of your trials here, probably never seen anything like that. But that was one last week. My God, $4 up to 50. That is what you call a short squeeze. Okay.
Well, that's exactly what you're going to be covering in your webinar later on today. That's the title of it.
Short squeeze,
How to
absolutely.
find the next big short squeeze. So we'll talk about that. I know that Alex posed that question about the nuclear stocks being a short squeeze. So there's a lot to discuss with those.
Is there a short squeeze on the nuclears? Did you check that website that you usually go on?
Oh, for like the short interest and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
short
with
interest.
Benzinga, definitely. Let's just
Oracle's getting close to that 200.
SMR has a higher short float, at least, than the OKLO trade does.
Okay.
SMR is at like 18 to 19%, which is pretty decent.
18%. What about Tesla?
GameStop right now currently is at the same exact percent, honestly, like right at 18.6.
GameStop is? What about Tesla?
1 second.
Actually, check out Oracle. I'm really curious about Oracle because that's going up, and I don't know if people are trying to cover the short on that.
Oracle is super low. It's less than 1%, actually.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so very, very low. Just for fun, I'm looking at the quantum stocks like QBTS. Yeah, QBTS, for instance, is like 19.4. So it is pretty high.
Which one?
QBTS.
Oh, wow. Check out MP, Rob saying.
Yeah, it's been a fun stock too, that MP. Nice swing.
Yeah, these tell you, these nuclear stocks are really they're holding it pretty damn strong at this time of the day, 10:30. OKLO is still hovering right around the 67, 66, 68. It's trying to creep up little by little. All right, so Oracle just almost made 200 and now starting to back off a little bit.
That UMAC that I had called out just before, still pushing higher, broke above $9. Again, the issue is just within a snap, this thing can drop back down to 870s, 880s. So just make sure like maybe an order on the bid can show up for that one, the UMAC. Everything I'm just kind of waiting on. It's nice. NVTS has a good resistance I'm thinking about there at $8.11. It's kind of right there in the border. Market's going up steady now. It was chopping around for the first 30 or so minutes, but we're getting a cleaner move on the SPY.
Yeah, it's going up like really slow.
Oh, here we go, NVTS. Let's see. How big was that seller at 811 that got broken through earlier? Wow, actually, 500,000 shares got busted through on this NVTS earlier today.
Oh, did it? That's a lot.
Yeah, so it's still acting as resistance right now, but the more it keeps knocking on that door, it's going to eventually try and bust over it clean.
You know, Boeing bounced after that plane crash. So Boeing had a very, very big support level at 200 back in May. Has been going up ever since this morning. Started right around that 197. It's almost like $10 up. 9:30 this morning was at 200.
Yeah, I saw that early in the morning, just the big drop, but it's been a good dead cat bounce.
Yep, the video is going up a little bit now too. Okay, trying to test. Oracle's trying to go back up again. Could be consolidation going on. I just added more shares to that 200. Grant says if you're our NSMR, you might pay to take the money. It's been holding here for a while, Grant. I just, it just went up so fast and so much. You know how we feel about that.
Yeah, it doesn't make it as easy to manage on the swing.
And for some of your trial members out here, I was talking about this on my podcast too, even with, Bryce and Tom. We've learned how to be better swing traders too. Now it comes to a point when you do want to swing trade someone because listen, you don't need a lot of money to day trade. You know what I mean? But these day trades would turn into swing trades and turn into options trades. So you just have to watch them.
It's got a new buyer show up on the OKLO trade just about 3 or 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, how much?
About 36,000.
I don't have it on my level 4. And just remind everyone, I'm going to be back live at 12 o'clock. If you're watching on social media right now, I'm just going to give you the link really quick, the QR code. Just click on that QR code and we'll get you registered for later today at 12 o'clock. All right. And if you're watching this recording, you can always, you get in late, you can always watch it later.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one because of all of the, not even the Trump Elon, but just like how these executive orders affect the market. Like with Archer and the aircraft stocks, like, hey, you signed that big executive order earlier this week. How did we trade those? Obviously, they are looking to sign something even further with nuclear. They just did recently, even. but how are those going to factor in with the market? How have they already? So it's going to be a good conversation for you to have.
Okay, so Oracle's getting close to that 200 now.
Yep, right there, knocking on that door.
I feel like it's going to break it. If this thing breaks 200, man, I don't even know where the next resistance it's going to be. I mean, this thing is freaking strong. 210, it's 15,000 sitting there.
Yeah, something like 210, like your 5s and 10s.
I mean, Oracle.
The NVTS trade's not making that break above 811, what I was looking for just a moment ago. So I can see it just dropping back down a bit here. You're getting close. I want to keep our eyes on this just to see what would happen here at this 200. Rich, even zoom in on that 1 minute chart.
Oh, here we go. We're getting close. So basically, I'm just looking at some of the news on Oracle. The revenues were 15.9 billion. They beat estimates of 15.6 billion, which is obviously a lot of billions. And oh, there it goes. You took them out.
Yeah, actually blasted right through him pretty quick. Let's see if
Their,
it's going to stay
their,
though, because this could just be a head fake.
their cloud infrastructure grew about 52% to about 3 billion.
Zoom out on the daily chart there, Rich. Is that all-time high?
Oh yeah, no, it is. It
Oh, okay.
definitely.
So then you know what? Hey, who knows? This might keep running now at this point, just because it is all-time highs.
It's up 23%.
I normally say 200 is a psychological level. It should hold as resistance here, but with it being all-time highs, who knows if the stars,
It
the
did that.
market's up. I could easily see this going higher here for a bit.
Oh, someone just came in right now just for 20,000 at 202. This I'm just going back in like 2010. So I don't remember the stock being this cheap. It must have did a couple of stock splits if I remember correctly, but it was at $22. And up until like just why I didn't never really traded it back. It really didn't go anywhere. From like 2012, it was like $28, and 2020, I mean, to almost 10 years, went to like 50. Just recently, started in 2022, when it was at 60, ran to 120. Just basically last year, 2024, when it was at $100, it's basically doubled.
I think a lot of people are starting to kind of catch on to what they're doing and just seeing how strong of a chart it has been, kind of flying under the radar.
I just don't like what happened with this stock. And I'll tell you what, there's another one I'm worried about. Same thing. It looks exactly like all the other ones. Back in December, it was at almost 200 and came all the way back down to 120. You know what I mean? And now we're back to 200. And it got there in what? A month and a half? I mean, that's a pretty damn substantial run.
You're right. I mean, well, it's like exactly what you had said earlier, where it's like a trader versus very, very, very long-term investor. It's kind of comparing the extremes, but one requires a lot more patience than the other. So you're thinking a lot more conservative, where you're like, oh my God, it's gone up so much already, right?
Yep. Always.
It's a healthy conversation to have with yourself.
Just took out the guy at 200.
If you're thinking those thoughts, it goes to show that you're experienced. Things have happened to you in the past where you've said, oh, I don't know if I should hold on as long this time. I got a little greedy last time, or whatever the case may be. Just those are good conversations to have with yourself.
I mean, I would love to buy it. You know what I mean? I really want to buy it. I really, really do. I just can't see myself paying $200. You know what I mean?
The Rigetti trade's going back up pretty nicely here. I just want to give it another 1 or 2 minutes, but
Oh,
I think we're
Rigetti. I thought it was
better.
tanking. It took a big hit, came back a little bit.
happy it got out on my short for the quantums, right? Bounced back up. So
It's creeping up a little bit. I mean, if I was to trade Oracle, I'd probably more day trade it more than anything, more swing trade it. See, me personally, like for the money, I mean, I like US healthcare because it got destroyed, but I hope this Oracle is not going to be another Nvidia.
oh, or it just like keeps going up, or
Yeah, now we get a ladder effect that's kicking in right now. Now some people are pissed. 201, 202, and 203 just showed up. 14,000, 20,000, 40,000. Someone's, I think it's a short squeeze because someone's getting squeezed right now. That's a sign of a short squeeze.
I mean, I bet you there's someone out there today that thought 200 would hold, and
Well,
if I'm going to take a short and then get crushed.
oh, someone just came now also at 250 cents for 20,000. And that's not a ladder down. That is, I'll take a screenshot of that. I think you guys can see it. This is pretty cool. Students, for a student here, you probably want to, if you don't have level 4. I know we have a lot of trial members here, but
So far, Rigetti trying to bounce. This is pretty impressive here. I like it.
there you go. So everybody see that little image I posted up on top? An alert. You said the ladder effect is starting to come in.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's actually a really good visual.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the guy that was at 250 just pulled that order.
It's just what you always say, though. It's like you want to read the right of the chart, right?
Yeah. Well, I was on Kathy Lynn's show yesterday, and a lot of people. It's like 300 people in there, 400 people on. She has a big following on X, and and she was always admired about us, order flow. People on the big thing everybody's talking about is following the smart money. I'm like, well, this is pretty damn smart. If you want to be voted, follow smart money, right, Josh? This is the smart money right there, and I don't want to change anyone's style. You still use your style depending on if you're doing crypto. We saw that on Bitcoin. You got orders down there. You got orders on options. You got to understand how to play the game. It's funny. I was talking to Tom Busby when Tom was on yesterday. I was telling him if anyone ever want to get into the business of trading, what do you have to learn? And he's, and he said someone was really smart. I think a lot of people here understand. I was like, he said like, some people don't know how to put a limit order out there. Just don't know how to place an order. None of them.
So I remember watching that just back on replay. I was listening to him say that.
Yeah,
like one of the first things he got to teach.
Yeah, like me, I was telling people they don't even know what a bid and ask is. And I tell you, got to teach that in the beginner class. Oh wait, hold on, we're testing this 201 on Oracle. The guy at 203 just pulled that order. And I said, well, there's some people that come up to me, and I mean, don't be embarrassed. Some people here probably said the same thing. They're like, don't you need a rooster for a chicken to lay an egg? And I'm like, unless you want to have babies, chicken lays eggs just like a woman has, has her period. It's the same thing. It's an egg. It's not fertilized, and they're like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. So it's the same thing. But we're going to get off the mic, everyone. It's 10:30. Very exciting. Time flies, Josh. What a great morning,
This was a decent morning for sure, yeah.
Yeah, Oracle's still pushing up, and I think a lot of people are starting to think what I'm thinking. Should I chase it here, chase it here? I think people are starting to chase it, you know what I mean? And getting into it. So it's causing a nice little buy. That big order at 201 just got filled. So we got the event today, 12 o'clock. Everyone, make sure we'll see you there. We'll put the link in there. I know I have a couple of calls with you people here that are doing some trials. Hopefully, you guys are having a good time. And just remember, you got to learn before to earn. Okay, and we'll see you back here at 12.
Catch you guys soon.